What if I told you that your entire life has been a code? A hidden code that has always been right in front of you, but no one ever taught you how to decipher it. Since childhood, you have felt that something was different. Inexplicable moments, sensations that seemed to make no sense, thoughts that others didn't have. While the world around you moved at its usual pace, something inside you always whispered that there was something greater. But what if I told you that this was not just a feeling, but a clear sign of your true purpose? Few people realize it, but there are invisible patterns that set the chosen apart. Small details, events that seemed insignificant but were actually hidden messages. Most people never notice. They ignore these signs, disconnect, and go through life without ever understanding their true role in the world. But with you, it was different, wasn't it? Since you were a child, you felt that the world was not quite what it seemed. While everyone around you was distracted by daily concerns, you saw something beyond. You noticed patterns, felt things others didn't, asked questions no one seemed to care to answer. Have you ever experienced this? And now I ask you, was all of this just a coincidence? Or has this truth always been kept from you? Is there a reason why no one ever explained what these signs really meant? The answer to these questions may completely change the way you see your life. Because if you have lived through these experiences, then you are not here by accident. Stay with me until the end, because what you are about to discover may change everything. What I am about to tell you may finally explain why you feel so different from everything and everyone. Since childhood, you have felt that something was off, something out of place. It was as if the world around you moved at a rhythm that didn't make sense to you. While other children played, you found yourself questioning things that no one around you seemed to notice, as if you could see a hidden layer of reality that no one else perceived. Have you ever felt that? Maybe, at some point, you tried to ignore this feeling, tried to fit in, but no matter how hard you tried, there was always something inside you that told you that you didn't fully belong to this world. It was as if your soul was in one place, but your essence belonged to another. And the strangest part? When you tried to explain this to someone, people looked at you as if you were overthinking it, as if it was all just in your head. But deep down, you always knew it wasn't. Now I am going to reveal something that no one has ever told you. That feeling of not belonging is not a mistake, it is a sign. The chosen have carried this feeling since childhood. But the reason behind it is something few truly understand. They were sent to a world that does not reflect who they really are. From an early age, they are tested, shaped, and prepared for a mission that most people could never even imagine. Have you ever noticed how some people live trapped in the same ideas, the same routines, never questioning anything, as if they were numb to reality? Meanwhile, you have always felt that there is something more, something that has yet to be fully revealed. That is the first sign that your mind is awake, while most still remain asleep. And here is the truth. If you feel this, you are not alone. But this is only the first piece of the puzzle, because there are other signs, even more astonishing ones, and when you connect them all, you will finally understand who you truly are. Now I ask you, are you ready to discover the truth? Have you ever walked into a place and, in an instant, felt an unexplainable shiver, as if something invisible was there, as if the air felt heavier, different? Maybe you never paid much attention to it, but what if I told you that it was not just your imagination? Since childhood, you have sensed things differently. The environment around you, the people, the places, everything seemed to carry an invisible energy that affected you deeply. While other children played without a care in the world, you noticed details no one else saw. It was as if the world around you was more intense, more profound, more filled with hidden meanings. And the strangest part? You always felt before you understood. Before any logical explanation, you already knew when something was wrong. Your body picked up invisible signals before anything even happened. This sensitivity was not just physical, but also emotional and spiritual. Maybe, even without anyone saying a word, you already knew when someone was sad or distressed. You absorbed other people's emotions effortlessly, as if they were your own. And sometimes it was exhausting. Crowds could feel suffocating. Chaotic places could drain you in minutes. But no one ever explained why, did they? What you need to understand now is that this sensitivity is not a weakness. It is a gift. The chosen have a more expansive, open energy field, which allows them to perceive frequencies that go unnoticed by most. But at the same time, this ability can feel like a burden, because without control, you may end up carrying energies that are not yours, feeling pain and emotions that belong to others. Maybe as a child, you did not understand why certain people or environments affected you so deeply. Maybe you asked yourself, why do I absorb so much? Or why do I feel exhausted after being around certain people? The answer is simple. Your soul was already connected to something greater, and this sensitivity was proof that you had a different mission. But here is the most incredible part. This does not happen to everyone. In fact, only a very specific group of people experience this. Now stop and think. How many times have you had the feeling that something was wrong before it even happened? As if a part of you knew before anyone else. This is not a coincidence. This is your gift trying to protect you. But this sensitivity is just the beginning. The next sign reveals something even more astonishing. And once you understand it, you will never see your life the same way again. Have you ever had a dream that felt so real, so vivid, that when you woke up, it seemed like it wasn't just a dream? As if it had actually happened somewhere at some other time? And the strangest part, sometime later, it actually happened. Maybe it was a place you had never seen before, but when you finally visited, it felt incredibly familiar. Or an event that seemed impossible, yet somehow unfolded exactly as you had seen in your dream. If this has ever happened to you, know that it was not a coincidence. Since childhood, many of the chosen have experienced dreams that go far beyond what science can explain. These are visions, messages, and even warnings that come while the body sleeps, but the mind remains awake. This happens because, during sleep, the barriers between the physical and spiritual worlds become weaker. And it is in this moment that the universe finds a way to communicate with you. But what if I told you that these dreams are not just random images? They are fragments of something much greater. Many of the chosen report recurring dreams about places they have never been, yet at some point in life, they end up finding them. Others dream of people they do not know, until the day they finally cross paths. And then there are those who receive direct messages, words that echo in their minds upon waking, as if something or someone is trying to deliver an important warning. And it's not just dreams. Premonitions are also one of the most evident signs of a chosen one. How many times have you had a strange feeling before something happened? As if your body knew before your mind did? Maybe you have felt a weight in your chest before receiving bad news, or an unexplainable sense of peace before an important moment. Maybe you have sensed a person's energy before they even said a word. This happens because the chosen have a heightened intuitive radar. They pick up on signals before events unfold. They feel before they see. But what does all of this mean? Why do some people have this connection while others seem completely unaware of it? The truth is, not everyone has this sensitivity. Many people go through their entire lives without ever noticing the signs the universe sends. But the chosen, they were made to perceive. They were made to understand. Now, I want you to pause and think, how many times have you had a dream that felt like more than just a dream? How many times has your intuition warned you about something before it even happened? If this has ever happened to you, then understand, this is not random. This may be another sign that you have a greater purpose. And the most incredible part, as you awaken, these signs become stronger. Your dreams become clearer, your premonitions more intense. But what comes next? What happens when these signs start manifesting more frequently? In the next few minutes, you will understand the true meaning of all of this. Because if you are noticing these signs, then your journey is only just beginning. Have you ever felt like you were never truly alone? As if even in your hardest moments, there was an invisible force protecting you, guiding you toward the right path? Maybe you couldn't explain it, but deep down, you always sensed that someone or something was by your side, helping you make decisions that later proved to be crucial in your life. That feeling is not an illusion. It is real. The chosen often experience extreme synchronicities, as if life itself were being guided by something greater. That last-minute decision that helped you avoid a serious problem. That opportunity that appeared at the exact moment you needed it the most. Those coincidences that seemed impossible, yet happened as if orchestrated by an unseen intelligence. But what if I told you that these coincidences were never just coincidences? Since childhood, the chosen have felt this presence. Some perceive it as a gentle voice in their minds, a clear intuition showing them which path to take. Others simply know that, somehow, they always end up in the right place at the right time. And the proof lies in the small details. Have you ever felt as if you were being protected? As if something pulled you away from danger without any logical explanation? Have you ever changed your mind at the last second, only to find out later that the decision saved you from something bad? Have you ever wondered why certain doors close, only for something even better to appear right after? None of this is random. It is a sign that you are being guided by a higher force, and this force reveals itself in many ways. Sometimes it comes through dreams, other times as a simple thought or a sudden idea that appears in moments of silence. But most often, this guidance comes during times of despair. How many times have you felt hopeless, lost, with no way out, and suddenly an unexpected solution appeared? How many times did you think you were alone, only to realize that the universe always sent you a sign at the exact moment you needed it most? This happens because the chosen have a purpose, a mission. And whenever a chosen one is about to stray from their path, something always happens to bring them back. Now, stop and think. How many times has life led you exactly where you needed to be, even when it felt like everything was going wrong? If you have ever felt that you were never truly alone, then this may be yet another sign that you are one of the chosen. And if that is true, there is something very important you need to know, because this connection with a higher force can become even clearer and more powerful once you finally understand your true calling. In the next few minutes, I will show you how this presence has been trying to guide you toward a purpose far greater than you ever imagined. Have you ever met someone and at the very first encounter felt like you already knew them? As if a familiar energy connected you, even though you had never seen them before. Or maybe you visited a place for the first time, and the moment you stepped in, an unexplainable feeling washed over you, as if that place had always been part of your story. If this has ever happened to you, know that it was not by chance. The chosen often experience inexplicable spiritual connections with certain people and places. These experiences are not a product of imagination, but a reflection of something much greater: energetic recognition. Since childhood, you may have felt that some people entered your life, and without any logical explanation, it seemed as if they had always been there, as if your souls had met before. Maybe a friend, a mentor, someone who appeared at the exact moment you needed them most, bringing lessons and profound changes. But how is this possible? The truth is that on a spiritual level, connections are not formed only in this lifetime. There are ancient bonds, spiritual contracts, and reunions that transcend time. Some people enter your life to help you awaken. Others appear to teach you important lessons, even if in some cases these lessons come through challenges or pain. And the same thing happens with places. Have you ever visited a place and felt an overwhelming emotion, as if your soul recognized it? Maybe a temple, a city, a forest, places that awaken in you an unexplainable longing, as if they had been important in another existence. Many of the chosen report experiencing intense déjà vu, as if they are reliving fragments of something forgotten. That is because the soul's memory extends far beyond this life. And when you feel this deep connection, it is because your soul is accessing information that your conscious mind does not yet fully understand. But here is the most important detail. These connections do not happen randomly. They are part of your path, part of your awakening. If someone has crossed your path and awakened something deep within you, pay attention. If a place has made your heart race for no reason, observe. Nothing is random. The universe is constantly sending you signs, guiding you through these mysterious connections. Now, I ask you, have you ever experienced this? Have you ever met someone and felt like they had always been part of your journey? Or have you ever visited a place and felt somehow that it had always existed inside you? If so, then this may be another sign that you are one of the chosen. And in the next few minutes, you will understand how these hidden connections reveal important clues about your true mission. Have you ever felt out of place, as if you didn't fully belong to this world? As if you were here, living your life, yet at the same time, you sensed that something greater was waiting for you? Since an early age, the chosen experience a deep sense of loneliness, even when surrounded by other people. It is a difficult feeling to explain because it is not about being physically alone, but rather about feeling that no one around you truly understands you. While others seem to go through life without questioning anything, you have always felt a restlessness within you. You have always sensed that the world is not exactly as it seems, that there is something beyond what we have been taught. But when you tried to talk about it with others, maybe you received strange looks, half smiles, or even words trying to convince you that it was all just in your head. And little by little, you started closing yourself off. You learned to keep these feelings to yourself because you realized that no one else seemed to see what you saw. But the truth is, this loneliness is not a mistake. In reality, it is part of your awakening process. The chosen go through periods of isolation because it is necessary for their transformation. Great spiritual awakenings do not happen in the middle of noise. They happen in silence. In the moments when you disconnect from the world's distractions and start looking inward. And maybe you have already felt this, the need to distance yourself from certain people, certain places, certain energies that seem to drain you. This happens because, as your consciousness expands, you can no longer fit into patterns that no longer make sense to you. But this phase of solitude does not mean you are lost. On the contrary, it is the first step toward rediscovering yourself. And here is something no one has told you. The more you accept this phase, the more the universe brings you closer to the right people. The ones who truly resonate with your energy, the ones who understand what you feel because they have been through it too. The solitude of the chosen is not a punishment. It is a calling for you to stop seeking validation from the outside world and start listening to the only voice that truly matters, your own. Now, I ask you, how many times have you felt out of place, misunderstood, as if no one truly saw you for who you are? If this has ever happened to you, know that this is not the end of your journey. It is only the beginning. In the next few minutes, you will understand why this solitude is preparing you for something much greater. And once this revelation happens, you will never see this feeling the same way again. What if I told you that nothing you have lived through happened by chance? Every sensation you have had since childhood, every moment of solitude, every strange experience that no one could ever explain, they are all part of something much greater. The world has always tried to convince you that these perceptions were normal, that your intuition was just a coincidence, that your dreams were nothing more than imagination, that this feeling of being different was just something in your head. But deep down, you always knew that wasn't true. And now, the moment of revelation has arrived. You feel all of this because you are one of the chosen. The signs were always there. Your heightened sensitivity, your premonitions, your inexplicable connections with certain people and places, that invisible force guiding you through your hardest moments. None of it was random. The universe has always been trying to show you that you came into this world with a greater purpose. The truth is, most people are completely disconnected from this reality. They live on autopilot, trapped in the illusions of the material world, never realizing that there is something beyond what their eyes can see. But you always knew there was something more. And now, you finally understand why. The chosen are not ordinary people. They came to transform, to awaken, to open the eyes of those who still do not see. But before they can do that, they must go through a deep process of self-discovery. And that is exactly what you are going through right now. Your entire life has been preparation. Every challenge, every loss, every moment of doubt, everything was shaping you so that you could finally see the truth. And now, you have two choices. You can ignore this calling and continue living as if nothing has changed, or you can accept your mission and take the next step toward your true awakening. But before you make that decision, there is something you need to know, because realizing that you are one of the chosen is only the beginning. Now, you must learn how to unlock your true potential. In the next few minutes, you will discover how to access the hidden power within you. Because knowing who you are is not enough. You must act. Now that you understand that nothing in your life was a coincidence, the great question arises, what will you do with this knowledge? Recognizing that you are one of the chosen is only the first step. But knowing who you are is not enough. You must act. From the moment you accept your calling, something begins to change. Your perception expands, Your intuition grows stronger, and the signs from the universe become clearer. But there is one important detail. Many people notice the signs, feel the calling, and ignore it. They continue living as if nothing has happened, trapped in routine, trapped in fear, trapped by the expectations of the world around them. But you can no longer turn back. Now that you have awakened, your soul will no longer allow you to fit into an ordinary life. So how do you accept this calling and unlock your true potential? The first step is to stop doubting yourself. Throughout your life, you have been conditioned to question your perceptions, to believe that your intuition was just imagination, to think that your emotions were exaggerated. But now you understand that all of this was actually a gift. The universe has always been speaking to you. You just need to learn how to listen. The second step is to reconnect with your essence. And for that, you need silence. You need to shut out the voices of the outside world and listen to what your soul has to say. How do you do that? Through meditation, introspection, and connecting with nature. Because the more you connect with yourself, the clearer your purpose will become. The third step is to follow the signs. Have you noticed how, throughout your life, the answers have always come at the right moment? How something always seemed to protect and guide you? Now that you have accepted your calling, these signs will become even stronger. You will begin to notice patterns, synchronicities, and messages appearing from unexpected places. Pay attention. Nothing is random. And finally, the most important step, stop waiting for the perfect moment to act. Many people spend their entire lives waiting for a grand sign, for a moment of absolute clarity before they finally step onto their path. But the truth is, the perfect moment never comes. What awakens you is not having all the answers. It is taking the first step, even without knowing exactly where it will lead. Now that you know who you are, you have a decision to make. Will you accept your mission, or will you ignore it? Because the truth is, the world needs you awake. The world needs your light. And if you have made it this far, know that this was not a coincidence. In the next few minutes, you will understand how to use all of this to transform your life once and for all. Because now you have a choice to make. Now you know. You have always felt it, but you were never certain until now. Everything you have lived through, every unexplainable sensation, every synchronicity, every moment of solitude, every premonition that became reality, none of it was a coincidence. You are not here by accident. You never were, and now you have a choice. You can ignore all of this and continue living as before, or you can accept your calling and take the first step toward awakening your true potential. But understand one thing, there is no turning back. Once you see the truth, you cannot unsee it. Once you awaken, you cannot go back to sleep. Now that you understand, the universe will begin to test you. The signs will intensify, the opportunities will appear, but only those who truly listen to the calling have the courage to follow it. So, what will you do with this? Will you keep waiting for things to change on their own, or will you take control of your own journey? If you feel like this message spoke directly to you, it is because you were meant to hear it at this exact moment. This was not a coincidence. This was a sign. Now, I want to know, how many of these signs have you already noticed in your life? Tell me in the comments. Share this message with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to continue this journey of awakening, subscribe to the channel now, because in the next videos, I will reveal even deeper truths about the mission of the chosen. The universe has already sent you the calling. Now, the choice is in your hands.